What's up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you back on the channel. On today's episode, we'll be looking at colors, specifically how you should go about selecting the right color for your specific skin tone. Color honestly plays such a crucial role when it comes to wardrobe selection. And with so many different colors, shades, hues, different saturations out there, where does one person even begin? Well, specifically understanding which colors work extremely well or work well with your skin tone is going to go a long way towards allowing you to narrow down this wide selection in terms of a selection that is right for you and allows you to play to your natural strengths. This is not only going to help you feel not out of place in your own clothing, not look washed out, but it's going to add that extra layer of sophistication to your outfit. Honestly, when it comes to colors, the devil truly is in the details. What's up, design family, and welcome to Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. When it comes to color selection, you honestly have to play to your strengths, and you start off by understanding what undertone my skin portrays. There are three key camps of undertones that most people fall into, and this is just part of being a unique human. Understanding yourself and understanding the things that work well for you will go a long way. When it comes to understanding your undertones, there are going to be three key categories. You have your cool undertones, you have your warm undertones, and finally you have your neutral undertones. The easiest way to tell any of these three undertones is by actually looking at the hue of the veins under your skin. Chances are, if your veins are trending towards the blue side, then you have a cool undertone. If they're trending towards the green side, you have a warmer undertone. And if it's quite difficult to tell and it's a little bit ambiguous, your veins are sort of trending towards purple or red, here you most likely have a neutral undertone. Bear these three key categories in mind because that's how I'll outline my specific recommendations in terms of which colors to go for and which colors to avoid for each of these three undertones. We'll start off for you guys that have a cool undertone. Chances are here you can't catch a proper tan to save your life and you end up getting burnt, and this just means that you need to play to your strengths, not your weaknesses. Most people with a cool undertone skin are going to have paler skin. They tend to be whiter. So my personal recommendation, if you have cool undertone skin, definitely stick to darker colors with a lot more richness in them. These are going to be things like gray, brown, burgundy, bottle green, and just bolder shades of blue are going to work all around. Make sure that you're going for colors with richness and stick to colors that are on the cooler range of the spectrum. So those that tend to have more blues in them. These are going to be things like purples, greens, charcoal grays, and definitely deep blues. Well, let's actually look at the colors that you guys should be avoiding if you have a cooler undertone. Definitely stick to your richer shades and stay away from brighter colors, lighter colors, and pastel shades. Also, try to stray away from neutrals. These are going to be things like whites, beiges, light beiges, and stones. Instead, opt for the same sort of colors, but go for a richer variance of that. These are going to be things like sand, camel, khaki, and lastly, slate gray. Next up, we have the warm undertone category. Here, your veins are more towards the green side, and most likely you'll be able to catch a great tan rather than have your skin toast in the sun. The major benefit here is that you have a lot more flexibility in terms of the colors that you can wear. The spectrum that's available to you is much wider, and you can go across a larger variance of shades and different hues. Also, do bear in mind that yes, most people with darker skin or more olive complexion skin would technically fall into this category, but this is not a general rule. You could have olive skin and still fall into the cooler or more neutral category. So do bear that in mind and use the vein test that I gave you in the beginning of this video. While most colors are going to work extremely well with a warm skin tone, you can always ensure that you look your best by opting for shades that are a little brighter or darker than the middle ground. What does this mean exactly? Well, instead of wanting to go for something like a warm sand, if you're trying to go for a neutral color, pick a light or a faded beige. Also, if you're trying to pick a purple, instead of going for something like a dusty mauve, which is sort of in the middle ground, Go for something that's a lot bolder, like a magenta. Now, let's actually look at some colors to avoid if you have a warm undertone. Since your skin will most likely have yellow or green undertones, it's definitely wise to avoid wearing shades of these colors, especially if they're too close to your skin. So some hues you should most likely consider eliminating are going to be things like your mustards, your olives, and your mocha brown. Also, if you're trying to go for a trickier look, something like a white on white or a pastel on pastel, definitely make sure that you're tan enough to allow those colors to pop and to pull off that look. Last up, we have the neutral undertone. You'll most likely fall into this camp if it's quite hard for you to tell whether your veins are trending towards blue or they're trending towards green. And if you look at it, you can honestly see both colors in your color's skin undertone. So here, the great news is that your undertone allows your skin to be perfectly positioned to marry well with the vast majority of colors across a range of different hues and shades. So you don't run the risk of being washed out like comparatively paler skin tones that we've discussed in the beginning of the episode. Now let's actually look at some colors to avoid, especially if you have a neutral undertone. Yes, we have said that neutral undertones have a lot of versatility and flexibility. That is a major plus, but you should still avoid yellows. Yellows, like pastel shades, are going to work to wash out your skin tones, and yellow will not contrast nearly as much as you need it to, especially with a more neutral look. Also, while black and navy are going to work, and they do work for the majority of men, and they are a staple in a lot of formal wardrobes, you should definitely try to keep it to a minimum just so that you can take advantage of how specifically versatile your skin tone is and explore the wide range of color options that are available to you. Well guys, that is it. That is a wrap on this episode. Hopefully you guys have gained a thing or two from the episode, and now you know how to select the right color for your skin tone. To recap quickly, we looked at how to determine the different undertones of your skin and which camp you'll most likely fall into. We have our cool undertones, we have our neutral undertones, and lastly we have our warm undertones. Let me know in the comments below which of these three camps you fall into and what color is your personal favorite and you feel looks best on your skin tone. Also, I get this question a lot, so I've set up a consultation page and the link is in the description. You can discuss with me anything you want, whether it comes to personal style or you're more business oriented and you want to set up a brand, a fashion brand. That's exactly what we do on this channel, and that's what we've taught for the last 3 years. Whether you want to discuss manufacturing, logistics, design, pricing, budgeting, I have you covered, and I'm more than happy to share my last 6 years of knowledge with you guys. Check the link in the description, and I'd love to speak to you. Also guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.